Okay everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're back on GT Sport and we're back with a daily race C at Bathurst in Group 3 cars. For this race we're on our second account, starting at the back of the grid in this top split race, trying to see if we can fight our way through. Now we were going to go for an alternative strategy. We were streaming this race live, so if you want to check out the live stream you can go to the live stream playlist and you should be able to find it in there. What we were doing was we were trying different strategies because we had worked out that the pit stop strategy actually was not that bad. You can actually get away with doing a pit stop here and it can actually work out in your favour. So you're going to see that unfold in this race, but this race was absolute chaos. You're going to see a lot of erratic driving from some drivers, some very nice overtakes. One in particular was an absolutely amazing overtake, and some very strange driving. So just enjoy this race. It's one of the most entertaining races I've been involved with. As straight away, lap 1, turn 1, we've got an incident involving two cars there, some sort of coming together. I think someone's missed their braking, and that's gave us 2 positions straight away. So without having to do an overtake, we've gone up from P18 to P16, all within the space of 1 corner. Now we've just got to try and keep it nice and smooth this open lap. Going into turn 2, a little bit too deep into the braking zone. Cold tyres there. With these hard tyres, they do take a little bit of time to warm up. Should have probably warmed them up on the straight a bit by weaving to heat up the front tyres, but yeah, didn't do that, so went a bit deep. Doesn't really matter though, because we're still very close to the cars in front and we're going to probably catch them up as we go down the main straight. We've got the GTR in front of us, one of the fastest accelerating cars on the game. That is why it's so popular at this track, because on pure acceleration it's very fast. However, top speed, I think the Ford GT was a little bit better. Seemed to be able to overtake the GT on the maximum rev range. As we see another car there, and some sort of incident going on there, not sure what's happened, but we've been promoted to P15, so from P18 to P15, and we've not even actually done an overtake yet. So going into this very tricky braking zone, you see everyone getting the slipstream from each other, and we've got chaos up ahead. We've got a car that has just wiped out and bowled off another car, and we've got 2 other cars, and they both made the mistake there going wide, following in with the chaos, and 4 places in 1 corner. I don't think we've ever had a start like this. Absolutely insane. Let's have a little look what happened there. We're going to zoom in on the action. We see P12 completely wipe P13 out. Just watch this perfect connection, double take out there, 2 cars out, and then 2 cars in front of me just decide to follow them off the track. We have to be very avoidance here of the Hyundai there on the right hand side. Managed to go around the outside, but look in the mirror and the chaos continues as they rejoin the track, and even more chaos pursues behind us. So absolute madness in this race so far. We've not even done 1 lap and we've gained 7 positions without actually doing an overtake. Pretty insane driving so far in terms of the action that has took place. As we're now going to skip forward to the end of lap 2 and rejoin, and will there be possibly more chaos into this heavy braking zone? This is really catching a lot of people out with the slipstream. As we go past the marshal, he's waving a yellow flag, so there is smoke everywhere. There is clearly some sort of incident. We've got a car off in the gravel, spinning there, going rallying, and another car parked up, reset to the track. So another 2 positions gained, and we've yet to do an overtake in this race. This is just crazy. As more chaos up into the final corner, the Mercedes clearly going for a bit of a lunge on the other car there, not really working out, and just about managing to keep his car on the track as we go through with the fastest lap of the race so far, probably because no one else has actually completed the clean lap, because everyone else is in the process of sending each other to the Shadow Realm, and so far we've been very lucky. No Shadow Realm being sent to us, and we're in P9. You know, we started P18, we've gained a lot of positions in this race, and we've got probably more chaos to come in this race. As we see a bit of a lunge by the Mercedes going through there. The Corvette nearly sent sideways and spinning off. We're going to go and see if we can go around the outside of the Mercedes. Why are you suffering? Unfortunately, I decided to back out. Good job there. We would have probably got sent into the wall. So backed out of that one. Wasn't worth the risk. Playing it safe as we jump on board the T3 replay camera and just follow this action up the hill. Now you can see the Corvette looking very sketchy. I'm not sure if its tyres have overheated from that little spin. It doesn't seem to have much stability at the moment. That car is actually a really stable car, so clearly some sort of issue going on for the Corvette as he's following the Mercedes that has just clean wiped him out pretty much into that corner. It was a bit of an aggressive overtake, but that's not for us to deal with at the moment as we go down the hill, and we've got another car that is ghosted and come out of nowhere. I don't know what's going on here. Clearly some sort of incident. We have to back out of that really, because it looked like it was going to be chaos. God knows what has happened here in this race. We've got 3 cars that have just appeared out of nowhere. The red Mercedes clearly had some sort of issue at the top of the hill, maybe running off track and getting some sort of incident sliding or whatever, but he's been ghosted, and then we've all come together. But now take a look at this. As we're going down the straight, the silver Mercedes has just sent the Supra clean into the wall. I don't know what happened there, but we're going to have an incident now. We've got two cars going very slow. We're going to go down the right-hand side and go for an amazing, very brave, and we've pulled it off. What an amazing overtake. Down the right-hand side, just went for it, and look behind us, the red Mercedes. Got some dirty tyres, obviously, from that overtake, but we were going for that overtake. No way I was backing out of that. So more chaos behind us, and so far, we are getting the luck of the day with this one. You can see we're now in P7. No real instance for myself. We pulled off an amazing overtake there. Just brave down the inside, two cars in one corner, up into P7, and we're only on lap 4 in this race. We're starting lap 4. We've only done a third of this race, and the chaos that has pursued so far is pretty insane as we're now working our way up the hill, following the Corvette. Can we go for a move? You can see that on the uphill sections, the Ford GT, not the strongest. Mainly when you're downhill and the revs get going, this car really picks up. You see as we get to the end of the straight, it starts picking up a bit. But into the complicated section, this is the more technical section, as we have a massive moment, just about managed to save the rear, and not really much overtaking opportunities through this section. You've got to be fairly train-like. There are a couple of opportunities. If a car makes a mistake, you can go for a move, obviously. But in this situation now, we're just going to follow the car in front, follow that Corvette who is following the Mercedes that absolutely lunged him before. So this is going to be an interesting race. Will there be any more chaos? Will there be any more incidents as we see the Corvette make a bit of a mistake there? We're going to gain a bit of time through here, but again, I'm not going to do anything stupid at the moment in this race. We're sitting in P7 from P18, coming from the back of the grid as that Corvette again sliding his way through the downhill section. Clearly, I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe he's got some sort of maybe the brake bias wasn't set correctly, but it's sliding everywhere. Again, into the final corner, clips the wall, we have to back out. We actually hit the rear of him there as we're trying to get on the pile nice and early. We're just trying to keep it nice and smooth, really, and take advantage of people's mistakes in this race and see if we can get ourselves into a podium position. It's looking like a podium might actually be possible. You can see on the track map on the top right, we're actually not far behind the leader in this race. Unfortunately, we didn't record this race when we were live on stream, so we've had to take all the footage. As we do the dummy, we fake the move up the inside. Corvette falls for it and just completely misses his braking and goes all the way off the track. Scared him into a mistake, and we're now up to P6. So yeah, we forgot to record the live footage while we were live, so we haven't got the deltas, but normally we do have the deltas. But for this race, unfortunately, there is no deltas, but to be honest, you don't really need the deltas. This is all about chaos and action within the race. So as we have a little look at that replay camera going into turn 1, very close. You can see how close we was then to the other cars ahead of us in this top split daily race C. Obviously, this is a daytime race, so the lobby wasn't quite as competitive probably as it normally would be if you were on late at night. However, there's still quite a few A+ drivers, A-rated drivers in this race as we fast forward the action over the top of the hill, all the way on the downhill section, the section that can really catch people out, and see what happens now as we join the main straight. We see we've caught up to the cars in front, and we decided, I think this was the lap where I could see that these cars in front, they're battling, and the Audi's probably suffering with a lot of tyre wear. I felt, what do we do here? Do we get involved with that? Do we try and get an overtake done, or do we go for that strategy of pitting? So we decided lap 5, if we pit now, that gives us 4 laps on completely fresh tyres, and we might be able to really catch them up quite quick anyway. So we're going to dart off into the pits, change them tyres, and put a fresh set on now. Let's see how this works out in the Ford GT. And what you're going to see here is just how short the pit lane loss actually is at Bathurst. So it used to be even shorter, but now we come out the pit and we've not actually lost that much time. Just take a look at this. We did see the gap behind us, so we knew we could get away with that pit stop. We come out the pits with clean air ahead of the driver behind us, which was very important. We didn't want to get stuck behind another car, and you can see we've only lost about 4 seconds or so, which isn't really going to be a problem because they're battling on old tyres, so they're going to be so slow on this lap anyway. We're going to have to just do a solid outlap as we fast forward the action for this outlap, and you can see in under a lap just how much time we're going to gain on them cars. You can see we were following this group just before we went into the pits, and now we're going to come to the pit entry in a minute, and you can see we're maybe 1 second behind, but now we've got a fresh set of tyres and they're battling away. This is going to give us some chance of getting past them a lot easier. I think if we would have stayed involved with that battle, we could have possibly got past a little bit faster, but it wouldn't have been that much faster, and we would have had all the tyres. Now we've got completely fresh tyres, and we can really go for this and see if we can make some progress in this race as we go into turn 1. They're going to go side by side. Will that work out? The Mercedes actually goes to brake a little bit early and tries to get an undercut and outpower the Mercedes up the hill. How will that work out for the Mercedes? Mercedes should have a little bit more grunt than that Audi, especially as we go uphill. It should have a little bit more power, but doesn't seem to be making that much progress as we're just following in that slipstream, making sure that we brake in time here as they're going to try and go side by side through turn 2. Not really going to happen there. The Mercedes backs out of that and tries to get an undercut as we're now right behind. So within a lap and a few corners, we've caught up exactly where we was. So this tyre change has actually worked out, and this is something that I will say, if you are suffering with a bit of tyre wear in this race and you find it a little bit more comfortable to drive with a fresh set of tyres, and there is a gap that's available that you can see through the track map, you only need about 4-second gap, 4.5, something like that, and you're going to come out in front of cars behind you. So it's possibly worth the risk. You might lose that. It might not be the overall fastest way, but if you've got battles going on like this that would have lost you time anyway, it is really advisable to maybe just go in that pits, get a fresh set of tyres and give yourself a really fast car that's going to have so much more traction for the braking zones and the acceleration zones, and you're going to be able to make overtakes a lot easier with a car with fresh tyres on, with light fuel as well, as we go through the final corner on the power nice and early. And again, taking advantage of that traction, you see now the Ford GT is really going to come into its own, a lot faster than the Mercedes and the Audi down the straights. You can see we're picking up the situation. We're going to go down the left, and the Mercedes just cuts right in front of us as we're going past. Bit rude. We're going to decide, well, you're not having the bump draft. We're going to bump draft the Audi and go down the inside here now as we take it right to the apex, and the Mercedes goes off the track there on our left hand side and wipes the Audi out. So thank you very much, Mercedes. We will take that another 2 positions through no actual overtake. Let's take a look what happened there, and we see as we go down the right hand side, we stay as tight to this apex as pretty much we can. You can see, giving the Mercedes as much room as we can, the Mercedes just turns in as if we're not there. Ricochets off with the pinball physics on Gran Turismo. He's now going to go onto that grass, and he just sends the Audi to the shadow ram. Just take a look at that perfect connection off the track. Both of them are going rallying. I take the 2 positions. We're up to P4 now in this race, and looking like a podium possibility. You can see we've got fresh tyres on, and we've got the chance of catching them up. Obviously, we've lost a bit of time on that lap with the chaos that was going on between the Audi and the Mercedes, but we're in a good position. We've got 2 more laps to really push. We can set some good lap times in this, and we might be able to catch up to the podium battle. This will be interesting. Can we do it as we follow the action now for this lap, which I think is going to be our fastest lap of the race, lap 8. So we'll drive on board for the whole of this lap. Check out the lap. There was a couple of mistakes. It could have been a bit faster, but let's take a ride on board as we go through a purple sector lap, going into the braking zone, braking just after the 100 board, down into 3rd gear, holding 3rd gear with this Ford GT. It really likes to stay in 3rd there, gives you a little bit more speed coming out of the corner. Then into this next braking zone, braking before the corner, make sure you get that downshift. Downshift quite slowly as well. Don't be too aggressive with your downshifts. It will tend to send the car a little bit sliding through that corner, so nice and progressive. Then in 3rd gear, this corner, keeping the revs going, just a little lift off the throttle as we approach the apex, back on the throttle, carrying the speed all the way through these really fast left-hand corners in 4th gear. So carrying about 130 miles per hour through there, and then into this corner, into 5th gear, holding a tight apex there, out of that corner, insane speed with this lap with these fresh tyres. Then on the downhill section, trying to keep it in 3rd for as long as possible before going to 2nd gear, and then an early upshift into 3rd gear as we come out of here and accelerating into this very tricky left-hand corner where I like to brake very early. Downshift again slowly. Too fast on your downshifts will kick the rear out as we then go onto the final corner. Nice and early on the throttle and power on our way down this long straight, and you can see the gap that is coming up to the drivers in front. We have really managed to catch them up with that lap there, putting in purple sectors on every single sector. It was going to happen anyway because obviously we've got a fresh set of tyres on. The final, we made a little mistake on that final, on the downhill section, maybe lost about 2-3 tenths as we clipped the wall, I think, but yeah, it would have only been about 2 tenths faster than what we've done here as we now work our way through that chicane, using the power of the Ford GT, and then into the final braking zone, braking just after the 100 board on the right hand side, down into 2nd gear. Hold that apex as close as you can, then get on the throttle as early as you physically can. The extra grip from them fresh tyres really paying off as we go over the line for a 2-minute 2.4 in the race. So that really shows you just how good these tyres are. They could have been a 202.1, I think, if we really hooked the lap up, which shows you that it is possibly a benefit going in the pits, because I think at this stage of the race, you'd normally be looking at 203.1s to 2s with the tyres wearing off. So you can be about 8 tenths to a second quicker, and if you do 3 or 4 laps that much faster, you're pretty much getting the pit stop back. So it can work out. I think the no stop is faster, don't get me wrong, but I think when you've got traffic, this strategy can work, as we now on the final lap are approaching the podium battle. And you see P2 has bottled it, he's gone wide. We're going to go up the inside, putting ourselves into P3 in this race, and we're now in the podium position from pretty much last place on the grid. Can we put P2 under pressure now at the top of the hill? We're going to really go for this. Fresh tyres, he must be feeling the pressure now as we come to this really fast left hand corner, and he's going to turn it a little bit too early there. You can see he's going to clip the wall. We're going to take advantage of that, up on the left hand side and into P2 in this race. Only one more car in front of us, however, that is a Nissan GTR, and it looks like it might be a little bit too far ahead, but we're not going to give up on this battle. If we can get a win, it would be absolutely insane in this race. So we're going to keep 100% attack, as you see, almost sliding our way through that section there, as we're really being aggressive. Onto the throttle nice and early. Unfortunately, we didn't get into the slipstream here, and P1 obviously in the Nissan GTR as well. Insane acceleration out of that car, so you're not going to out accelerate the Nissan GTR from first to fifth gear. However, in the final gears, it is a little bit weaker than the Ford GT in sixth gear, so we can gain a little bit at the end of the straight into the braking zone. Can we force him into a bit of pressure and make a mistake as we go through the left hand corner? You can see he's clearly pushing, so he is feeling the pressure. A little wobble from that Nissan GTR there as he kicks up some dust from running wide, but he's kept his car on track into the final corner now. All he has to do is take this corner nice and sensibly, and he's going to take the win in this race. And we're going to come home in a well-earned P2, and pretty much one of the most chaotic races I've ever been involved with on Gran Turismo Sport, as we go over the line with another 202.6. Shows you that even with that chaos that was going on that lap with the overtakes, you can still put good times in with the fresh tyres. So yeah, worth trying out the change of tyres in this race. Give it a go, see what you think. Always pay attention to the track map, see what gaps you've got. If you've got a 3 or 4 second gap, it can sometimes be worth trying out. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that video. I thoroughly enjoyed that race. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed, and hit that notification button so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks again for watching, everyone.